Lean in, lock in, listen. What is your favorite dish to cook? Yeah. What is what is your favorite dish to cook? I'm no chef boy RD at all. But I really like salmon, I like veggies, asparagus, particular. Like a nice Caesar salad, maybe even put a little bit of salmon or chicken in the Caesar salad. What is your best dish? What's your recipe? Yeah, for cooking it up and for bringing that culinary, chef's kiss type of, savory meal that you whip up and put together. In the kitchen, risks flipping like it's stir fry. Yeah. I want to talk today about recipe for restoration. Just like you got to have a recipe for the food, a recipe for certain meals, recipe for success. You also got to have a recipe for restoration, recipe for reciprocity, a recipe for restoration. I want to talk about cooking, how to cook with commitment, how to cook with contentment. That's what I want to talk about. How to cook with contentment. That means you got to get to a particular place of satisfaction. I want to talk about enjoyment and satisfaction in particular meaning. There's an author, there's a professor by the name of Arthur C. Brooks. He's really done a lot of work with Harvard, and he mentions that there is a particular formula to actually being happy. Wouldn't you like to know what that formula is? I'm so glad that you asked. Even though I believe happiness is based on what's happening, I believe there's some truth to finding out and discovering what really is going to make us happy. He mentions enjoyment. First is enjoyment. And enjoyment is not the same as pleasure. See, generally when we say enjoyment, we generally lump that word into we lump it into pleasure. It's not just specifically and solely pleasure. Enjoyment now is pleasure with presence, pleasure with purpose. Right? It goes beyond just a feeling. It is about your level of focus. It goes beyond just a feeling. It is about your particular level of fidelity. Pleasure is a brain chemical. Enjoyment is a soul experience. Pleasure just more so satisfies and satiates the body momentarily. But enjoyment enraptures your soul and brings healing from within. And we've got to get to a particular place now that we're moving into a greater level of enjoyment in life. Do you really enjoy life? Notice this, you cannot spell enjoyment without the word joy. Happiness is based on what's happening. Enjoyment brings the joy. Happiness and pleasure can often get lumped in together. But pleasure is generally momentary. You can do something in a few minutes that now mess you up for years. Pleasure can now put you into a particular place to where you're doing permanent things with temporary people that now leave permanent scars. Momentary. happiness based on what's happening. Enjoyment, though, brings joy. Remember that song, and we would sing in church, "This joy I have, the world didn't give it, and the world can't take it away. Not this pleasure I have, not this happiness I have, but this joy I have." If you're going to experience a level of increased purpose in your life, you're going to have to move into a place of enjoyment. What really brings you joy? And this is Anita Baker who sang that song, "You bring me joy." I better not sing it anymore. When I'm down, what brings you joy? Anita Baker found out what it was or who it was. But here's the thing, your enjoyment has to go beyond a person. It's got to be enraptured in your purpose. It is Arthur C. Brooks who also mentions, yes, enjoyment. He also talks about satisfaction. And he defines satisfaction as the art of enough. Here's what satisfaction is. Satisfaction is about appreciating what we have. Listen, if you focus on what you don't have, you won't have. It's being grateful, is appreciating what I already have without reaching to try to always get more. It is a level of contentment, right? And here's the thing, we're living in a culture that is constantly grasping for more. We live in a culture that's constantly in a place of a lack of contentment. We're living in a culture that thrives on consumerism, thrives on comparison. Here's what I understand about comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy. When you compare yourself to others, in so doing, you are not wise, is what scripture said. Satisfaction, hear me, is getting what you want and wanting what you get. Did you hear me? Satisfaction is getting what you want and wanting what you get. Happiness decreases when we only rely on what it is that we have. When we only rely on achievement to feel fulfilled. Stop focusing on what you have and start focusing on who you are. When you cannot count any more blessings, start counting the breaths that you take. Why? Because every breath is a blessing. Here's what satisfaction does. Satisfaction cultivates gratitude. And this is what we have to do. This is how we have to live. We have to adopt an attitude of gratitude. Yeah, I got an attitude, all right. But here's what it is. It is an attitude of gratitude. That's what my attitude is. My attitude is gratitude. You can rise no higher than the level of your attitude. Hear me. Most people will not deal with you beyond the level of your attitude. If it's low, they got to go. What is the level of your attitude? And here it is. Satisfaction moves me into a place of gratitude. I'm getting what I want, but I'm also wanting what I get. It moves me into a more peaceful place. I got to have peace internally. I got to have peace through the process. So I'm enjoying the present, celebrating progress without pressure. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself. I told you just yesterday, check your tire pressure. Check the tire pressure of the trauma. Check the tire pressure to see what are you inspired by. Check the tire pressure. The T, trauma, triggers. I, inspiration. The R, are you really getting rest? The E, are you elevating like an eagle? And the S, is your spirit sensitive? We have to get to that particular place so that we can live without positioning ourselves into a place of pressure, cornering ourselves into a place of pressure. Got to move into a place of enjoyment. Got to have a level of satisfaction. And here's what it is, last but not least, meaning. Finding meaning. This is what brings contentment. These are the ingredients to cook with contentment. This is a recipe for restoration: the enjoyment, the satisfaction, the meaning. What do I mean by meaning? Meaning is about living with purpose. Meaning is the most enduring component of joy. It's the most enduring component of happiness. Here's what meaning does: meaning calls you to recategorize life, meaning calls you to recalibrate, meaning calls you to reframe and re identify and redefine what life is. Meaning calls you to reach for a greater level of depth through discernment, depth through direction. Discernment says, listen, I need to be cognizant and cautious about what I'm thinking, who I'm surrounding myself with. And matter of fact, am I surrounding myself with the type of people that are connected to what I ponder about? Discernment about, do I stay or do I go? What is my next move? And that discernment now moves me into a place of direction. Every good idea is not a God idea. Here's what discernment moves me into a place. Discernment moves me into a place of knowing my no. You see it on the cap, no cap. Knowing my no. Knowing who to know, knowing who to know. Why? So that I can live in my season of yes. Here's what Brooks notes. Arthur Brooks, he mentions this, and to a certain degree, I pretty much already knew this, and maybe you already did too. But he mentioned that more people derive meaning when they have a spiritual connection. Spiritual development shifts the focus into finding meaning in life. Why? Because it governs and it guards and it guides your values. It becomes the guiding light for your mission. It moves you into a place of being more resilient. And here's what researchers indicate: that people who engage in at least 12 minutes, minimal 12 minutes of prayer each and every single day, it rewires and it reframes their brain. Why? Because I'm replacing worry with worship. I'm replacing pain with prayer and praise. I'm moving beyond just who it is that I am and beyond just myself and what it is that I want. And I'm making my list and I'm checking it twice, even though you've been more naughty than nice. You're able to cook with contentment. Why? Because you've created a recipe not for disaster, a recipe not for destruction, but a recipe for restoration. And when you're bringing it all together, I'm talking about the enjoyment, I'm talking about the satisfaction, I'm talking about the meaningful aspects of life, the joy, the peace, the increase. Here's what enjoyment brings. Enjoyment brings a lightness to your life. Yeah, it brings light to your life and it makes you light in life. It's removing the heaviness, it's removing the weight. It's removing all the things that are weighing you down. And it also shines a light on who it is that you are and the greatness within you. Satisfaction now brings peace. Satisfaction moves me into a place of contentment. May not have everything that you want, but you have everything that you need. Satisfaction moves you into that place to where, yes, not just are you just getting what you want, but you're wanting what you get. You're getting what you need. And you're wanting what you need. Meaning now moves you to a place of greater depth. There are some conversations that you cannot have with people, that you cannot have with certain people. Why? Because they have no depth. Scripture says this: deep calleth unto deep. And so many people are stuck in the shallow end. They can't have a conversation beyond people. They can't have a conversation beyond labels. They can't have a conversation that does not ingratiate gossip. I heard T.D. Jakes say, he said, listen, I've never met a rich gossiper. All the gossipers are broke. Those who are rich, they don't have time to gossip. They don't have time to sit up and talk about folks. They don't have time to just be focused on who's doing this and what's not happening. No, they are focused on enjoyment, focused on satisfaction, focused on meaning. And their meaning in life does not revolve and derive from those who don't mean much to their growth and their progress and their purpose. If you're going to be rich, you can't engage in poor conversations. Meaningfulness, when I'm bringing the meaningfulness, I'm bringing the satisfaction, the enjoyment all together, I'm not just high for a moment. I'm finding harmony in what is meaningful. And I need you to hear me. I need you to hear me. This is a recipe for restoration. This is how you cook with contentment. This is how you cook with even being committed. Because true happiness isn't something we find out there. True happiness is something that we build in here. It takes place within. It's not about what takes place on the outside. It's about what takes place on the inside. And hear me, if there is no enemy within, the enemy that is without can do you no harm. These are the ways of how you live your life. These are the guardrails. This is the fence. This is the bridge. These are the borders. This is how you position yourself. These are the boundaries of how you live your life so that you know your no, so that you can live in your yes. If you don't have my book, Know Your No, I guarantee you this is going to help you to get more enjoyment, going to help you to get more satisfaction and more meaning out of life, for you to live a more meaningful life. How to build healthy boundaries and love without losing yourself. Find yourself. Find yourself a copy of this book. I want you to go ahead and get it. You can get it on Amazon as an ebook, as a hard copy. I'm grateful that it went #1. But you can also get a signed copy on my website, EddieConnor.com. You know somebody needs this book. You know you need this book. You know you need to gift this book to somebody else. Don't procrastinate on it. Don't hesitate on it. Go get it now. Go get it now and unravel and unearth all the truths that are in this book so that you can move into a place of enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning in your life. If you're not a member of my Eagles community, what are you waiting on? Come on. No, seriously. What are you waiting on? Enrollment is open right now. What are you waiting on? Time for you to get registered into a community that's going to give you content, that's going to move you into a place of how it is that you walk out and live your life so that you can soar above what it is that you're going through. You need to be in a community. No one grows in a silo. Most people will achieve their goals not just in isolation, but in collaboration. Join our community as I coach, as I teach, as I train, as I mentor you so that you can make the transformation. It's time for you to see transformation in your life. It's time for you to grow. It's time for you to stop staying on the level that you are at now. And it's time for you to level up to a greater level, to a greater dimension, to a greater place of ascension. Soar with us into greater success and purpose. Go right now to theeaglesacademy.com, theeaglesacademy.com. When you get there, tap the Join Now button, fill out the form, be transformed. That's what it is. I know you were transformed by this conversation. Yeah, a conversation of restoration. Once you're so into it, Cash App, $Dr. Eddie Ministries, $Dr. Eddie Ministries, PayPal, info@EddieConnor.com, on Zelle, EddieConnorJr, gmail.com. Links in the chat, links in the description of this video for how and where to give. Your gift is a gift that helps me to keep on giving, to mentor our young brothers in the community, to serve as what I do here in the city of Detroit as the pastor of the Remnant Worshipers Ministry, of how it is that we give, how it is that we sow, how it is that we help people in their community and our community grow. Links in the chat, links in the description of this video for how and where to give. Thank you so much. It's yours truly, Dr. Eddie, your main man, 100 grand, your brother, And I mean that from another mother. Family has been fun, but you know, brother got to run. So I want you to know it's been a privilege and a pleasure, a treat and a treasure, a joy beyond measure. But I want you to remember to keep the faith and believe it's going to be bigger, better, brighter, peace, and a whole lot of love. Keep soaring higher. I want you to go ahead and get your hands on my new book, Know Your No. It's all about how to build healthy boundaries and love without losing yourself. Boundaries are not limitations. Boundaries are for liberation. You're going to find a way to unbox yourself. You're going to find a way to really love yourself and to move into a place of emotional regulation, to stand your ground, to draw a line in the sand, stand 10 toes down on it. Don't do the electric slide. Don't moonwalk away from it, but really stand wholeheartedly down on what it is that you say. It's for your protection. It's for your self-care. Moves you into a greater place of self-awareness and emotional regulation and developing your mental health and creating boundaries so that you can abound to a new and a greater level. Go right now to get a signed copy at EddieConnor.com. EddieConnor.com. And then, of course, you can also get it on Amazon. Go and get the book right now.